All right. Hey there, everybody, and welcome. It's your girl, Robin, and I am so excited. You have no idea. I am so excited to be on with you guys today. I'm on everywhere, y'all: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and even LinkedIn. I know it has been a minute, but I told you guys that I had a lot of traveling coming up in the month of February, and your girl has been outside. I went to Detroit. It's important to me. Prayer is important, which is really the topic we're going to talk about today. But prayer is really important. And I had an opportunity, my schedule allowed for me to go to Detroit to attend the Intercessory Prayer Conference. What an incredible way to start out the new year as a leader, just for my own personal benefit. I made that investment and I flew to Detroit and I was there for the week and I attended the Intercessory Prayer Conference hosted by Bishop William Murphy Jr. So that was an incredible time. Then I went to Dayton, Ohio for my school, United. I was trying to see if I have my little book around here, but it's over on the table. You all know that I am in the doctoral program. So I had to go there for my 1 week intensive. So that was incredible. But y'all, why did your girl get sick on the plane coming home from Dayton? And I mean, like sick, like the paramedics met me when I landed. Like on the plane, they get on the loudspeaker and say, "Is there a doctor on board?" Oh my goodness. Thank God that I got through that and I, recuperated. And then I went to Houston, and I had a client project that I was in Houston for. So that was a really great experience. Some of you all may not know this, but one of the services I offer with my agency is a secret shopper. And so what I do is I come to your church as a visitor, and then I have a full assessment. It's like 4 or 5 pages. And I fill out this assessment and then I share it with the church so that they know what visitors are experiencing when they come to their church. So I did my client project, then I stayed over and I did a secret shopper. So had a great time there. Then I hosted my Get It Done workshop and we had an incredible time. When I tell you, God is so faithful. We had an intimate crowd. We had a great time. We were together for about 8-9 hours on that Saturday, planning out our year. I don't know about you, but you've heard people say that planning, let me see, goodness, not having a plan is a plan to fail, right? Something like that. So we took the time to plot out. I think we got through the second quarter of the year. So it's important that we plan so that we know what our goals are for the year and how we can give vision to those goals. I heard somebody say, I've been doing a lot of research, and I heard somebody say that when you do like a vision board, that gives life to our dreams. And I thought that is so key. As a matter of fact, let me show y'all. I got a little, this was the goodie bag that I gave out. And part of my teaching was that God has really big plans for our lives. And as we serve a big God that gives us big dreams, we need big pencils, right? Something big to write out our dreams. So I gave everybody one of these big pencils. And it's a reminder, for illustrative purposes, every time they look, and of course they had a workbook and all of that. So as they went through and they completed all of their assignments, they took the book home, of course, and they took the pencil home. So they will be reminded of their goals. And it actually works. It's got a lead tip and everything. So this was really, it was a great time that day. So shout me out. Let me know where you guys are watching me from. I've got looking at my comments. So let me know. Let me see. Yep. I see you. Good stuff. Where's Facebook and YouTube? Let me know you guys are watching. So we had a great time. that day, amazing food, and it was just an excellent experience. I thank God that He's so kind that I was able to do that. Then let's see, I rested a little bit, worked on another project, and then I decided this week to get my COVID shot. I was so sick, as I said, on the airplane and all of that. And all of that was really from a bad cold, going in and out of different climates. And then, of course, not wearing this like I should, but you see, I got it. Now I'm not playing with this thing. So I'm wearing my mask on planes and, going into public spaces. So I realized that prior to, stopping my COVID shots, I hadn't gotten any colds. So I said, well, I better go get a COVID shot. So I did that Monday. And so I've been down because of the, after effects of my COVID shot, but I'm good now. So, I see you're on from Houston. Yay. Good. Glad to see Houston is, it's a place that I plan to be spending a lot of time. So we'll hopefully we'll connect right in Houston coming up. So anyway, let's see, let's get to it. How have you guys been? Are you excited? It's February. Hopefully you got your goals and you're working on them. I read a statistic that said by 17 days after we make a goal that, people already forget them. Well, not me. I want you all to know that I put together my goals and I had a financial plan. Let me tell you, and it really goes into the teaching I'm going to do today about vision. Hey, Patrice, that's my good girlfriend, a longtime friend, family friend from home. Glad to see you on, sweetheart. But you have to give God something to work with, right? It's terrible to be a Christian and have faith and not activate it. And so that's one of the reasons why I felt it so important to host my Get It Done session so that I could bring people together and that we could write out what we wanted to have happen. Well, let me tell you this, it was originally scheduled for January, but then we had snow in Atlanta. So I had to reschedule it for February the 8th. Hey, North Carolina's in the house. I see you. So in rescheduling it, I sat down and again, I put out what my goals were. And I want you to know in doing that, in showing up and activating my faith, now I'm at the stage where I'm checking its production. I always say this, anything that you hire or activate or employ, you have a right to check its production. So in us activating our faith and then employing the scripture, we have a right to check its production. Well, when I tell you, look, where's my crown? Oh, I moved it because I was teaching the workshop, but in writing the vision and making it plain, I told God that I wanted to have at least a minimum of 4 engagements a month. Now, this is from somebody that basically has not been out on the road because I've been in school, but now, things have kind of shifted and I'm at the place in my doctoral program that I'm not, taking classes, every single day of the week. And so the program is structured a little bit differently. And I'm going somewhere with this, you guys. Hey, Cedric, I see you on, sweetheart. And Dr. Flippin is on. Oh my gosh, one of my heroes in the faith. Glad to see you on, sir. But I put out my plan and I want you to know that I checked its production. And literally like the 28th of the month, I said, God, I haven't gotten all of my engagements. And I want you to know that must have been the 25th, because on the 25th, I got a text from a pastor that said, can you do a workshop for me virtually? And it needs to be tomorrow. Listen, I'm telling you guys, that's how faithful God is when you give him something to work with, right? So I said, absolutely. So that engagement came through. Then I had another situation pop up where in meeting my financial goals, a payment wasn't going to come to me that was supposed to when I thought it would come through. And I want you to know that I got a call. I got a text from a pastor or a call that said, hey, we have an event coming up. can you do a session? I said, sure. So I'm like, okay, God, thank you. Again, he's being faithful. I want you to know that after speaking with the coordinator of that event, they said, we actually want you to do the entire event. That one event is allowing me to meet my financial goals. I'm telling you, give God something to work with. As a leader, I think it's so important that we don't give we give way to the enemy, that only big great things happen for the pulpit. Absolutely not. Great big things happen to doorkeepers. Great big things happen to parking lot workers. Great big things happen to the receptionists. You know what I'm saying? I think it's important that we understand that what's taught from the pulpit is for us all. You don't have to have a title. You don't have to have a position. You don't have to have a degree. You don't have to come from a family with a certain name. You don't have to have been in church for 20 years. None of that, right? It's a whosoever will. That's how God works, right? If you say, Lord, I want you. Yeah, I want to be saved. Yes, you are entitled to all the benefits. All right. If you follow his will, if you follow his way, if you employ your faith, if you study the scriptures, if you are obedient, everybody type in the comments, obedient. Yes, if you're obedient to his will and his way, he honors it. It's a sacrifice. I'm here to tell you, Lord knows I've had to sacrifice some things that I really wanted, but it worked out for me in the end. All right. Obedience is better than sacrifice. We've all heard that and been taught that for many, many years. All right. So again, make sure you share. This is going to be a really, really good teaching on today. So let's jump into it. So I'm talking about, is it your vision or God's vision that you are teaching as a leader, that you are demonstrating as a leader? I want you to understand the importance of reflecting God's vision as a leader. In fact, let me start with asking you this question. What is one word you would use to describe a great church leader? Put it in the comments. What is one word that you would use to describe a great church leader? What is one word that you would use to describe a great church leader? Y'all write it out, right? Put it in the comments for me. Let me see. Oh, influence. Okay, Dr. Flippin, influence. One word that you would use to describe a great church leader. Open-minded. I love it. Good, good, good. Flexible. That is great, Kim. I love it. I love it. Let me see what my folks over on Facebook are saying, and YouTube. All right. Good stuff. What about visionary, organizer, a builder, even committed? Those were some of the words that came to me. Yes, as a great leader. Today, of course, we're going to dive into what it means to reflect God's vision as church leaders. Leadership, listen to this, in the church isn't about personal ambition. It is about stewarding God's plan for God's people. That's right. Consistent is good. Absolutely. Leadership isn't about personal ambition. You shouldn't sit down and say, I have an ambition to be, the XYZ in church. Absolutely not. Now, if that's God's plan for your life, wonderful. But it's not something, I'll just go ahead and tell it. I wish I had an olive, right? You get oil out of an olive through what, guys? put it in the, I see it, integrity, efficient, consistent, love it. How do you get oil out of an olive? How do you get oil out of an olive? Type that in the comments. Yep. How do you get oil out of an olive? Yes, very good. I see it. By crushing. Yes, by crushing. Who just openly wants to go through the crushing process? Not me, right? Not me. If I'm going through the crushing process or press, that's right. If I'm going through that process, I want it to be because God has an assignment for me on the other side of that crushing, right? I don't want to just be taught a lesson. I don't want to get crushed because I'm in the wrong lane, right? I want to get crushed because it's for my good. It's for where I'm going in God, right? So I always, as a leader, I challenge myself and those that I lead. I remind them that leadership is about stewarding God's plans for God's people. That's why it's dangerous when you have parking lot meetings, when you have, private text threads that don't involve people, right? Because you've got ulterior motives. You're going against God's plan. You're not hurting the pastor or the leader that you've got issue with. No, you're affecting God's plans. Right. And that's something you don't want to play with. All right. Jeremiah 29:11, we all say it all the time. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Do y'all remember that part? And not to harm you, but plans to give you hope and a future. That's why you want to be in God's plan. Absolutely. God has a plan. It's to give you hope and a future. You're going somewhere as a result of your assignment. So you don't want to just jump up and say, oh, well, I want to be the head usher. And that's not what God has in store for you, right? God has plans for his people. And as leaders, we are entrusted to guide his church toward that vision. We must make sure that how we lead reflects God's vision in church leadership. As I was preparing for this, I said, well, let me exegete a text. Y'all know I've been in school. That's right. So I'm excited about where God has taken me. And so I wanted to be a blessing really by breaking down this text for you. Proverbs 16:3. We say this all the time. Hey, Prophet Dr. Joshua Smith. Hey, Jerry. Glad to see you guys on. I just told him I'm going to exegete a text. Yes. Listen, God is so good. I'm celebrating my own growth in God. All right. I'm celebrating. Listen, because God has a plan for my life. Don't let people tell you, y'all, I was Miss Hospitality. I still am. I proudly wear that hat. But don't let people tell you that your assignment isn't of value. My assignment matters. My presence matters, right? So I am following the assignment that God has for me. I own that I am a hospitality guru. Dr. Flippin is on. I have spoken at Dr. Flippin's church 2 or 3 times. He's an incredible general in the body of Christ. I have people that have affirmed the assignment that God has for my life. So this applies to you, all right? So Proverbs 16:3, let's exegete this. It says, commit your work to the Lord and your plans will be established. This verse encourages us as leaders to trust in God's guidance and to align our plans with God's will. The word commit in the Hebrew means to roll or entrust. When you roll something, it leaves you and it lands to where you roll it to. If you entrust something, you give it away. You give away ownership to it. So I serve as the overseer of elders in my church. I don't have a plan to direct the elders, but God does. And so I'm going to go through in this teaching and kind of talk about how that is a plan that is revealed to me, right? It's not a plan that I sat down. Look, y'all see, I got my pencil. It's not a plan that I sat down and said, okay, this is what I want. This is what I want. This is what I want. Absolutely not. I went to God and I prayed and I asked for guidance. I asked for direction, because this isn't an assignment that I take lightly. I've always said, I'm not called to pastor. And I say that in the flesh, but I see a lot of what God is doing with me is pastoral. So I don't know that that means, that I'll pastor, in the traditional sense of the word, but I'm pastoring people now in my current assignment, if you understand the parts of being a pastor. So let's keep going. The scripture says, commit your work to the Lord. Then it says your plans. Let's talk about that. This part of the verse refers to the plans, your daily task, as well as long-term tasks. Y'all, we have to stop showing up as leaders flying by the seat of our pants. You ought to have a daily plan, a weekly plan, so that you are operating in alignment with what God has for you as your assignments. Prophet J. Smith says, many are pastoral, but aren't called to be a senior pastor. Thank you so much, man of God, for sharing that. Absolutely. And that's how I feel. So the plans, I'm telling y'all, I am a writing wonder. When I spend my private time, I told you this before, but I spend 60 minutes every day listening to something, reading something, studying something that can pour back into me every day, except the weekends and sometimes on the weekends. But it's become such a habit that I now look forward to it. I love it. I was talking to Kim earlier today. There's another book that I want to read. And so I'm enjoying the Audible app because it's something I can listen to as I'm winding down at night. I don't have kids. I don't have a husband. And so when part of my nighttime routine, I can add listening for 20, 30 minutes. I actually do all of mine in the morning. So when I'm getting ready, when I'm showering, when I'm, putting on makeup, I am able to, take that in. I don't turn on the TV. I'm not on the phone. I am listening to that book, or I have YouTube. I've got a couple of people. In fact, I got this idea of this pencil from Terry Savelle Foy. She is an incredible woman of God that I'm modeling my ministry goals after. Now, my ministry goals I don't see as readily in the Black church. So how shall I want to say this and be politically correct. I am a teacher that is oily. How about that? I am a teacher that is oily. Thank you, Holy Spirit. And in the Black church, if you're not a preacher that is oily, then people get all uptight. Well, I don't care. I'm not going to fake that. I do preach, but my presentation method is as a teacher. People are going to leave blessed because I carry the oil. I'm studied. I'm educated. I'm prayerful, right? And so lives will be blessed, but they'll be transformed. And that's really the measurement tool that we should use as preachers of the gospel is, are people transformed? All right, so let's keep going. So plans are a part of that. Establish. The word says that your plans will be established. That means God will bring about or cause to happen, yes, plans that are aligned with his will. Even with me being in school, I had a desire to get my Master of Divinity degree some time ago. I applied, I got accepted. I really flew to Hampton to go to Hampton Ministers Conference. Then I drove to Virginia Union and I met with a counselor only to be told, this was like in 2018, that they didn't have a virtual program. Well, it was on my heart to do it. But once they said that, I said, well, I can't do it because at the time I was taking care of mom and dad where? Well, as fate would have it, COVID happened 2020 and all of that. And and then I lost, mom and dad transitioned to heaven. In 23, Is that right? I'm getting it wrong, y'all. I'm in 22. Thank you. In 22, I got a call that they had a virtual option, and that is when I started my master's program. That all was a part of God establishing, yes, He will bring about or cause to happen for my life. So my plans were in alignment with his will, and I didn't get thrown off. This is another teachable moment. I didn't get thrown off because his timing wasn't in alignment with my timing. No, our timing should be in alignment with his timing. And as a result, I ended up getting a scholarship and didn't have to pay, right? I paid for like the first semester, and then I got a scholarship and I didn't have to pay. If I had gone in 2019, I don't know that I would have gotten a scholarship, and I would have had to pay. And then I would have had to pay to fly up there on the weekends. I would have had to pay for hotel, and I would have had to pay for food, right? But God's timing is perfect. Let's keep going. It continues to say that commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will be established. Success. I love this. The best chance for success, it comes when plans are aligned with truth and goodness. And then trust. By committing to God, we acknowledge his wisdom and ultimate control. That's it. That is it. Once you realize, not like the children of Israel, when they got to that Red Sea, they were like, why did you bring us here? Did you just forget what happened, how God got us through? No, I tell you, I'm not exaggerating, and I'm not saying this because I'm on with you guys. I talked myself off that ledge of questioning God's faithfulness. Because I'm human, the thought will come to me, oh Lord, is this where, is this going to work out? Nope. I remind myself, but remember, you did end up going to school, and then you went for free. And then you got this opportunity. And then God showed up in this way. That's why, and I have it upstairs, I've started writing in my gratitude journal. I bought all of my attendees a gratitude journal. And so every morning I write what I'm grateful for. And a part of that is to remind my flesh, right? Because we are spirit, yeah, but we're also body. And so I have to remind my body, yes, what God has done for me, so that it allows my spirit to lead. All right. And then, of course, when people we commit our work to God, we can experience peace because we know that God is in control. Absolutely. So, yeah, she says, I love Terry. I love Terry. I get tickled when I watch Terry Seville Foy because her voice is very different. My voice is different, but I celebrate that she is celebrated for being a teacher that is oily. Look, I may have to look, I'm looking back here at my trademark. Sorry, y'all. I lost it for a second. I trademarked the word prophetess. So that's my certificate up there. I may have to trademark that I'm a teacher that's oily. But you understand where I'm going with that? You have to be comfortable in the gifts that God gave you. So let's go through these 3 points. Again, talking about making sure that we as leaders, that we are directing people using God's plan. Our visions reflect God's vision for his house. Number 1, that is that we seek God's guidance through prayer. We must have a prayer life. It is through prayer that we talk to God, that we hear from God, that we gain peace from God. Absolutely. James 1:5. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives generously to all without reproach. All right. And it will be given to him. Prayer must be our foundation of every decision. Listen, if you're not prayed up and you're a leader and that person comes at you sideways, you will come back at them sideways. You don't know that God may be giving you a download that you'll be able to implement for that person, 2 days later at church, or when that phone call rings, right? So you want to make sure that you hear from God. And spend time with him before you need him, right? Before you need an answer, before you need help. Spend time with him as things are going great, when things are well. Yeah. So then you really begin to know his voice. I've heard other people say, well, how do you know you hear from God? You got to spend time with him. All right. Without seeking God, we, of course, risk leading in our own strength, and we don't want to do that. Many leaders face burnout as a result of that. All right. So let me give you this tip. Every meeting, you should begin it with prayer. Sermon prep, before you write one word, start in prayer, right? Be intentional about your prayer life, and don't let people judge you, right? If they decide, oh, they don't really have a prayer life, or they're doing, Mary had a little lamb prayer life. Listen, none of that is their business. It's all between you and God. Your growth will show up. I am a living witness to that. I have worked tirelessly. I've built my platform tirelessly. I have built my business tirelessly. And I have had many of people try to throw daggers at me. And I'm like the Matrix, right? I just move and dodge. That's right. Because I'm not going to let them inflict on me their thoughts or their opinions. Let's keep going. Number 2, you got to empower others to dream big. That's why I had that whole session here. I wanted them to kick off the year dreaming big. We serve a big God. We should have big dreams. That takes a big pencil to write our big dreams. Listen, Ephesians 3:20, we quote this all the time. Now to him who is able to do exceedingly immeasurably more than we could ask or imagine, according to his power that works within us. We got to help people understand that God's vision is expansive. That's right. He calls us to think bigger, to dream bigger, and to believe bigger. Too often as leaders, we carry the responsibility instead of equipping others to rise. Let me just pause. I need a drum roll with that. Yeah. If you feel like you're the only one that should grow, you're missing it. You should have people that are under your leadership that are rising to the top, that you're able to say, girl or guy, you're ready. You can take this. You should see growth. You shouldn't try to stifle people because you want to carry all the weight. You're not the only one that God speaks to. All right. And if you spend time with God, he will clarify, he'll give you clarity as to who you can trust, as to who he has sent to help you. I'm telling you, I'm so excited about everything that's going on with the different entities that I'm a part of. I have an opportunity to be a part. Well, I really can't share that, but I've got a great opportunity to be a part of a global network. I've been praying and asking God to make me a part of a global network. And I want you to know that I reached out to someone about something totally separate. And they said, you know what? We really appreciate your consistency, your willingness to serve. They just, named some things. And they said, have you ever thought about XYZ? Because I've got to connect. I said, have I thought about it? Yes, it has been, I didn't go all churchy with them because it's a corporate thing, but I was like to myself, that's been in my spirit. And God has connected that dot. What if I hadn't poured into that person, right? What if I had been like, I'm the end all be all and everybody listen to me? No, we got to stop that from church. All right. A lot of times we think, because I'm more spiritually mature, that I'm the one that God uses. No, God can use anybody. All right. So let's keep going. Be mindful, just as Jesus empowered his disciples, he prepared them to continue his work. Who are you preparing to continue your work? Yeah. Who are you preparing to continue your work? Are you preparing someone? Y'all put a yes in the comments if you're preparing someone to follow you or, to launch because of you, to grow because of you, to activate their faith because of you. What I'm doing right now, That's what I'm pouring into you. Some of you all are supposed to be going live and doing teachings. Yes, exegeting texts, right? You are supposed to be showing up in ways that you're not. And I'm hoping that that's part of what you're getting even from me. Good stuff. All right. And then number 3, the last one, we've been on for 35 minutes. I'm going to wrap it up. Is you have to invest in the next generation. Psalm 145:4 says, one generation shall commend your works to another and shall declare your mighty acts. God's vision is multi-generational, right? I love it. If we fail to invest in the next generation, you guys, we risk stagnation. I always say this during my leadership workshops. I do not believe, I've not found it in the scriptures, that we get a reward for saying that we were the head usher for 40 years. Absolutely not. I believe that you ought to max out, right? You ought to hit a ceiling and you ought to transfer that opportunity to someone else so that they then can be prepared to lead in their generation. All right. It didn't intimidate me. I've had people reach out to me and say, oh, I want to be a church consultant. Can you help me get started? Some of you may be saying, yikes, that's what you do. Listen, I'm not worried about them, right? God has me covered. Listen, I said this Sunday, God sees about me. Y'all type that in the comments if you believe that. God sees about me. I know that's not, perfect grammar, but God sees about me. Yeah. He does. He checks on me. He prepares for me. Yeah. He seeks ways for me. Yeah. So, and I didn't come up with any of this. God gave this all to me. Every gift, every talent, my anointing, it's all from him. All right. My ambition, my goals, everything is from him. How you call yourself a coach and then you decide you don't want to coach anybody that does what you do? It doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, God sees about me. Look, that's another one I may need to trademark, right? God sees about me. Yeah. So I'm good with it. That's how I can faithfully say I put my goals out there. I gave God something to work with because he sees about me. Yeah. So he places me, as part of my daily prayer. He places me on the hearts and minds of his people. There's someone right now trying to figure out when they can put a workshop together and invite me to speak. Yeah, that's my confession of faith. Yeah. I speak at least 4 times a month. Yeah. Because people leave me better. There's transformation when people encounter me. Absolutely. I am a blessing to those that I connect with. Yeah. Image One Studio. Yeah, God sees about me. Danae Ballard, God sees about me. Kedrick Lowry, God sees about me. Kim, God sees about me. Jerry, God sees about me. I am Janet. God sees about me. Absolutely. So don't be afraid. That's why I have the confidence that I have. You can't stop God from blessing me. No. Because the way I'm set up, all I do is win. All I do is win. And if I'm not winning, it's just not over yet. That's what, again, back to my example of trying to go to Virginia Union back in 2018, 2019, it may appear I didn't win because, I applied, got in school, and then they didn't have the option for me. No, it just meant it wasn't over. Because then look what happened in 22 or 23. I got in school and ended up getting a scholarship. God sees about me. Yeah. Absolutely. That's why I'm the type of coach, I give out my cell phone. I make time for my students because I know you need encouragement. This road is not easy, right? I don't care how strong you are. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care, who knows your name. It doesn't matter. Life be lifing sometimes, all right? So you have to stand firm on knowing that God sees about me. All right. So understand that young leaders and new believers, they need guidance, y'all. They need encouragement. And most importantly, they need discipleship. I'm actually working on my dissertation. A part of it is about discipleship. Yeah, it's important that those of us that are of faith, that we disciple those that are new to faith. so that they don't exit stage left when the road gets rough, right? We do ourselves a disservice and them a disservice when we don't tell our truths. If I wasn't honest to tell you all what happened with my first experience at Virginia Union, y'all may be like, everything is just wonderful for her. Absolutely not. Y'all lost my parents within 18 months of each other. Yeah, I could have lost my mind, but God, because God sees about me. Yeah, I made it through. Grief will never leave me because I miss my parents terribly. But there are stages, and God sent people to me to help me get through the stages, including going to school. Some of the new family that I have, I met at school. God knew I would need that after losing my parents. I'm telling you, it is important, all right? So leadership is not about control. It is about continuity. I'm going to leave y'all with that one. It is about continuity. Why in the world would you sit back and watch somebody make a mistake, something that you've already proven doesn't work? I still mentor, and I'll tell people, tell me what you're thinking about that situation. And I'll say, from experience, this is how I would handle it. And then let me tell you why. See, a lot of times we're the type, as church, do as I say. Well, you can do as I say, but let me tell you why. Right? That's part of activating our faith and then employing the scriptures. I think that we stop at activating our faith. Lord, we believe. Well, then you got to employ the scriptures. That's how you get through day to day. That's how you get through day to day. All right? So it's important that we understand our assignment as directing with God's vision and not our own vision. All right. Do we reflect God's vision in our church leadership? Well, listen, guys, I hope that you have been blessed. Let me ask you, please, if you'd like to stay connected to me and you are not, I want you to, I'm going to type it in the chat for those on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn, but text the word join to the number 678-271-1601 and follow the prompts. All right. Give me some feedback on this teaching if you enjoyed it. Let's see there. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Okay, there it is. Sorry, I got to put it up on the screen. Y'all can put it in on Instagram. I guess I can. Let me grab this. It is text the word join to the number 678-271-1601. All right, and then let me pin this. There we go. All right, good stuff. I am going to be emailing some updates about some new programs. Some new coaching programs that I'm launching. And again, I've been delayed because of, being sick and then travel and all that kind of stuff. But I want you to know, you want to be in rooms where money's flowing. A lot of church people don't like to talk about this, but I'm talking about it because Deuteronomy 8:18 says that God gives us the ability to create wealth. So I want it. Yeah, absolutely. I want it. And so, money is one of the ways that we're able to sustain the kingdom. All right. So a lot of my teachings for entrepreneurs is about how to build income streams. So I've got that coming. And then I'm so excited. I'm doing a leadership lab. It's going to be a monthly membership portal. Y'all let me know in the comments if that's something you'd be interested in. But it's a membership portal where you'll pay a nominal fee every single month, but you will get teachings like this from me that you then can use as you lead others. I'm going to talk about technology, different systems that you can use to operate your ministry in excellence. I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to have visitors. I'm going to have my dean, even maybe Dr. Flippin will be one of my master class teachers, but we're going to have master class sessions. So just something more intimate that we can come together on a monthly basis. And then it'll be stored in a portal. So if you miss any of the live sessions, you will be able to come back and watch later. So let me know, is that something that you will be interested in being a part of? Again, it's a leadership hub, kind of an, a portal, I guess is what I should say, that we can connect with just on a more deeper level. Kind of that's the pastoral piece coming out of me. Again, not being a senior pastor of a church, but being a pastor over my assignment. So good stuff. I see you saying that the teaching was good and that you really needed this. Good stuff. I am so glad that you guys jumped on. Again, I know it has been a minute since I have been on, but your girl's back 100, feeling fantastic. God is so faithful. I thank God for the rest. Part of that was, I think, God just wanted me to rest. So, I was down a couple of days and let's see here. Not sure what that is. All right. All right, good stuff. Who else? Oh, I see Bishop Sellers made it. Good to see you, man of God. Let's see. Q Bolton is on. Glad to have you on. Yes. So let me know if the monthly membership is something that you'd be interested in. I think as leaders, it's just important that we get poured into, all right? That we're not always the one doing all the pouring. So that's kind of one of the underlying purposes, I believe, as God gave me that assignment for 2025. All right. Thank you, guys. God bless you. And I appreciate you hanging out with me on today. Have an amazing